AWE in the building, and we're going to be going over the touring AWE exhaust for the S650 Mustang. Now this exhaust is going to be for non-active exhaust Mustangs from the factory, and Sarah is going to tell us a little bit about it.
Sure, so we have the Touring Edition here. This one features our 180 technology resonators. It also features a full 3-inch H-pipe, as well as some adapters to be able to run this H-pipe to your factory exhaust. What's nice is those are removable, so if you do want to get a little spicier upstream, you can take those out and have a full 3-inch setup. There's also some over-axle pipes that didn't fit on the table here that we'll show you guys when we get into the install.
As far as the spicier setup, we are going to have another video for that, for all those guys out there that just want a little bit more loud out of their Mustang. Now I will say this is going to be perfect for the guy that wants to daily drive their Mustang, but still be able to have some noise with it. Now this install should take us about an hour. We originally had an aftermarket exhaust on our Mustang. We took it off. So we're gonna show you some B-roll on how to take it off, but let's go ahead and jump into today's install.
So the 650 has this new pan that comes in from the back. Start by removing these two screws, and we're gonna bend the bracket forward out of the way. Next, remove these two bolts for the rear hangers. And then hook from the subframe. Next, we're gonna loosen up the front clamps. Before we do that though, bend these tabs out so the clamps can slide back. Now loosen, but don't remove these. Now we're gonna slide the clamps back and then slide the entire cap back off, remove it as one piece. You will need additional set of hands for this. We're gonna have someone hold the mufflers in the back while I'm gonna do the front.
All right, so the first thing that we need to do is put in our adapters here that Sarah's holding. We're gonna be using the factory exhaust clamps to hold them into place. Now, I'm gonna tighten down these exhaust clamps, but not all the way. We're gonna tighten them down all the way in the end after we make our final adjustments.
Just snugging them up to hold them up there. There is a little bit of an adjustment there, so we don't want to take that away before we install the rest of the system. Next up, we're gonna get the H-pipe in place. We want to try to keep the H-pipe as flat as possible, and we're going to just snug these up to hold it in place while we get the rest of the install done, and then we'll come back and tighten these down at the end.
We now grab the next part of our exhaust system. We are going to be using the factory hangers for this piece of the exhaust. Simply just slide them onto our new AWE exhaust, and then we're going to slide these onto the H-pipe. Now for the driver's side, you're gonna want the pipe that has the sticker on it that says XG. And for the passenger, you're gonna want the side that says XJ. Simply slide them on after you put your clamps on. And then once you have it on, put your hanger in place so it holds it, and then slide on the passenger side. Again, make sure you have your exhaust clamp on before doing this. Now we're gonna put in the hardware for our factory mounts here. That way the exhaust doesn't come down and hit us in the head. Don't tighten them down all the way, so we're gonna have some adjustment in the end.
We're gonna get the Touring Edition sections up now. A good way to differentiate these is the driver's side will always have the badge on right there. So we're getting the driver's side touring section on. Don't forget about that clamp there. There we go.
And we're gonna put the muffler up on the other side of it now. Oh, snuggy duggy. So at this point, all the exhaust clamps are loose, and what we're gonna do is start tightening everything down. Now, the first thing that we need to do is make sure that our H-pipe here is nice and straight and nice and even before tightening it down. Now ours is actually pretty good, so we can go ahead and start tightening these exhaust clamps down. If you have a friend on standby, have them hold the H-pipe in place while you're tightening everything down.
You want to make sure these clamps are not over top of one of the slots and they're hanging over the edge of the pipe just about 1/8 inch. And that way they're properly positioned to tighten them down. Okay, now while we're pressing up on this section, there is a good amount of adjustment in the rotation of these axle pipes. So we have him holding it up now, and I'm going to tighten these down. Again, we want them not over top of a slot and about 1/8 inch over the edge. Cool. Then make sure these rear resonator sections are aligned, and we'll tighten these down as well. So to get the tips installed, these come with our integrated tip clamps. So we have the hardware here. This lag bolt's gonna go through the top just to make it easier to adjust it underneath. And then we have a washer as well as a nut. And I like to get this hardware on off the car just to make it a little bit easier. Because if it's snugged up, then we can just go ahead and slide the tip in place. And then line it up. I like to line it up with the edge of the valence here, but again, these are depth adjustable, so you can pretty much put them wherever you like. And then with an 11mm socket, go ahead and tighten it down.
All right, so we got our AWE touring exhaust on our S650, and it's now time to start it up and see how it sounds. Up the install, and I gotta say, this exhaust is gonna be perfect for those daily driver S650s out there that don't have the active exhaust from factory. Now, this install maybe took us, what, about an hour and a half, if that?
Yeah, it definitely helps to have a second set of hands, especially since the stock is one piece.
Definitely. So if you guys wanted to be able to pick up this exhaust, we are going to have the link down below in the description, but also subscribe and stay tuned for all the other AWE exhaust videos that we're gonna have on our channel.